Hey gang, I thought I'd talk a bit about one of the things that I think creates the most emotional blocks between people, that puts distance between us, and that is assumption. Even the most emotionally intelligent or bright, generally bright people assume a lot about each other. And it can end relationships, or it can stop them from ever starting, or it can keep them very small. We assume that the newspapers that say somebody burgled someone else or hit someone else or raped someone else are true. We assume the story. Of course, sometimes the stories are correct. But what people very quickly do is assume things about each other without asking questions. Do you think that's true? Is the source reliable? And so on. People do that about emotional things too. So people on here IM me very often. It's just ironic, for example, we've got a cemetery behind me because I'm talking about the death of relationships, really. People IM me on here and say, thank you for posting that video. I didn't know people suffered with feeling not good enough or depression or whatever it is. A lot of people message on here. There's 5,000 people on here. I cannot tell you how many people message me to say, I've never talked about this, but there was one guy who is really nice. He's always smiling. He's always very fun, takes care of people, too much so, has a good group of friends who care about him, seemingly. What they don't know is that he's terribly lonely and unhappy. So when I spoke to him, he said, I've never thought about counselling. I've never spoken to anybody like this. He was clearly quite uncomfortable with talking straight about his feelings and so on. And his family culture, like many of us, is not to talk about the things that hurt or the things that don't feel good. Those are the people that often struggle with depression or rage. When you look at people who, as a kid had a fight down the pub or still do, or people who smoke weed, or people who are really anxious and things have to be a certain way, we are all using methods to keep what we struggle with quiet. So this guy, for example, you wouldn't know that he has any problem whatsoever, and his friends who he's out with for the evening, most nights a week, don't know that he goes home and he's so lonely he can barely stand it. He doesn't assert himself, he does everything for other people, not for himself, and so on. And those people don't get the attention they need. That's the irony. The people who need the attention most block it by assuming nobody wants to hear about it. And we all assume so much about each other, it's ridiculous. So you might want to think about, who am I not saying something to, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, because of an assumption I'm making about them, or about how they'll respond. Either way, you're suffering because you're not having the connection with the relationship anyway. So you may as well go for it and say, I care for you, do you care for me? Or you seem depressed, I know something about it. Or I never have liked you because I thought this. And check it out. Sometimes we're right, sometimes we're wrong. I would say 98% of the time we make assumptions and it's not true, and we really miss out. So when we assume, often we put distance between us, we block connection, we kill off relationships, or they'll never begin, or they stay kind of mediocre, not much. If we think about the fact that everybody has a huge depth of character, truly, so much potential, and yet we live in this kind of middle ground of bit bored, not really saying very much, certainly not expressing ourselves. So if you're interested in killing off emotion, relationships, thoughts, emotions, and so on, have a look at the church behind me and the fact that I'm in, ironically, a graveyard. Have a think. Bye.